It's day number 4, and it's mid-afternoon, starting late again due to sessions with the doctor, with the NET doctor. So it's mid-afternoon, and now on the way to Bancroft, from Perth to Bancroft, about 190 kilometers. It's quite hot, and there are a lot of flies around, and the road should be very, very nice. Just arrived at Bancroft, and this is called Sword Inn. Just came here. And this motel is $150 for the night. Small, but it looks quite nice. It looks quite lovely. Today's riding was really fantastic. Once you get off that main road, number 7, that goes between Ottawa and Toronto, then the roads become twisty and quite hilly actually. So it was a lot of curves, not sharp curves, more like sweeping curves, so one doesn't need to reduce speed much, but still good curves. And almost no cars. Met a couple of groups of bikers on adventure bikes, and otherwise it was all empty. Fantastic experience, can really recommend it. And now we'll enjoy another steak and potatoes and steak, potatoes, and caviar, yeah. Again. All right. Day number 5 of the motorcycle ride, of the road trip, starts, or rather to say, the reporting on day number 5 starts about 100 meters or 330 feet above the town of Bancroft at Eagle's Nest. That's how the lookout is called. And the temperature this morning was 5 degrees Celsius, which is about 41 Fahrenheit. And in the afternoon it's supposed to be a scorcher, 28 degrees Celsius or about 82 Fahrenheit. So it will be a probably nice sweat ride. So let's switch to the front camera and see the beautiful view from here. Now down here in the valley you can see a river. They have a couple of outfits that supply canoe and kayak rentals for some. One of them advertises 3-hour paddle up the river, up north. That way is Algonquin Provincial Park, and approximately that way is Toronto. The motel where I was staying overnight is behind this hill, and this main road down here is what had to be walked to get here. It is 3 kilometers or about 2 miles each way to get here, and a nice vigorous climb. So really gorgeous. This must be amazing in the fall when the fall colors are on. The town of Bancroft seems to be quite efficient, at least in one aspect, and it is this. Up there is the Eagle's Nest lookout, partially hidden by the trees, and down here is a cemetery. So if people try to fly and they can't, then it's a short way to go. Not everybody is an eagle, huh? Now this is Nirvana, pure heaven. This is a juicy view of the headlight of my bike, and this is a juicy view of Head Lake. So I thought I would go ahead and show you the Head Lake. Don't lose your head if you don't know where Head Lake is, because there are a lot of lakes like this in this region. And I'm heading down to Aurelia. That's the city destination for today's trip. So there you go. Okay, so this is the last stretch for today. Maybe 16 kilometers, 10 miles left to Aurelia. And for the next 7 kilometers, they are supposed to have snakes on the road, so we'll have to be careful. So let's get rolling. Ooh, it's dark in here. King bed. View of the parking lot. To quickly wrap up day number 5, there was 10 kilometers of hiking, walking, so that's about 6 miles, and there was close to 140 kilometers of riding, that's close to 90 miles. The riding took 5 hours with all the stops, and I hope you didn't take my comments about the road sign, about the snakes on the road seriously. It was, of course, a joke. Motorcycle travelers must be at least a little bit goofy. And also today, I got into a little bit of a pickle with the bike. As I was coming down to a rest area where the small waterfall was, the approach road, or or approach trail to the rest area quickly changed to what looked like sandy, and it looked like it could have been quite deeper sand and deeper gravel in places. And my front wheel was already in that on that path, almost entered the path. And I'm not an off-road rider. I do ride on dirt roads, as in gravel roads, but it's a solid surface with just some sprinkling of sand or gravel. That's fine, that's fairly easy. But this kind of deeper stuff, loose stuff, especially on this bike, which is fairly new to me. My previous bike was much lighter, the realization came that there wasn't enough skill to handle it. So now the bike had to be backed out of there, which was really entertaining, because backing up 260 something kilograms of weight on uneven terrain, on slightly loose and slippery terrain, it was a real treat. So an interesting experience. Riding day number 6, return to Mothership Toronto. Canadian Shield has been left behind. Now it's farmland and some hills of the Niagara Escarpment further on. And the ride is about 140 kilometers, staying off the highways. So it will probably take 5 to 6 hours. Look at that. 3 horses, 77 horses. 3 horses, 77 horses. Hey, Mr. Horse, do you know there are 77 of you in there? Do you know that? Do you comprehend that? Sprechen Sie Deutsch? Parlez-vous français? Mluvíš česky? Ponímáš po-rusky? No? Oh well. You're not Bavarian like that, like those 77 horses, you know, that's why. Yeah, no, yeah. You're beautiful, but I couldn't attach my saddlebags to you, you know? Okay, bye-bye. I'll take my 77 horses. And now it is the home stretch. In a couple of kilometers it's hop on a highway and all the way back home. So this is it, the end of the 6-day road trip. Today's riding distance was 160 kilometers or 100 miles. It was more than expected, mainly due to following roads that didn't follow my direction. At the same time, was rewarded by being able to ride through a nice valley, through some nice twisty roads and unpaved roads, and by being able to talk to horses. And it took 5 hours. The distance of the whole 6-day trip was 960 kilometers or 600 miles, and everything was fantastic. Can highly recommend it. The weather was excellent, lots of bugs, but not too bad. And this was not my first road trip or tour or mini tour. I've done a couple of 2-week road trips and a couple of camping trips. But this was the first trip done on a bike meant for it, with proper tools. A bike that fits the size of my body, that has a proper panniers, didn't have to deal with lots of bungee cords and rock straps and ropes. Everything just clicked in and everything was fantastic. The only thing that I noticed for me is that as to the weight of this motorcycle, it is quite hefty for challenging situations. So for exploring some dirt tracks, unless you're an expert rider, this may perhaps not be the best motorcycle, but for normal roads it seemed to be fantastic. My previous rides for the already mentioned trips were a Vespa GTS scooter and a Honda CB300F motorcycle, naked motorcycle. Much smaller bikes comparatively, and not as ergonomic for longer rides, but they were also lighter, so they allowed a little bit more exploring in some cases. Okay, so that's it. I hope to see you on the road, smiling and enjoying it.